If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. I post a new Tom Brady video every day.
I mean, this might be minor, Stephen A. Molly, listen, but when you're in the jumping all around button heads and shoulder pass, Tom was always in the middle. Now, I've never been a part of a team that the quarterback is in the middle, hitting people harder than linemen, button heads. So I knew it was something special about him right there, because as a quarterback, you got to, in those times, you had to be considered crazy to be in the middle, button heads with offensive line, defensive line, as hard as he was doing it, and he's just getting out there. You're going to get a concussion before you take a snap. So I knew it was something about Tom right there, but he earned our respect by going out there, not making mistakes, and keeping his head down, because at that time, the defense was the leader of our team. You know, everything, filtered around and through the defense, and Tom came out there, and he just made that his team over time. T-boy!
Ty, I want to ask you about this. Sometimes when we're talking about some of the best athletes, they're the ultimate competitors. They have to be a little bit me first, not team first, right? To get the job done, to have that laser focus. But with Tom, it appears to be different. It appears that he is team first. So what I want to know more so is about him as a person. Tom Brady, the guy, what type of person is he?
He's one of those guys. He's the most unassuming superstar that you're probably ever going to meet. He's one of those personal guys. He knows everybody. I still don't know how he knows every single person on that team and who he plays with. He knows about their family. Similar to Mr. Kraft. I mean, I don't know how they do it, because some guys that came in for a cup of coffee, I wouldn't remember. I'm going to be honest with you. But Tom is that type of guy that everyone just gravitates to him, and he takes the time for everybody. So that was what made him a great leader. Not only was he a great player, but he was a leader amongst men, and people followed that. He took that responsibility, and that made him different from anybody else, because coming up from little league all the way to the pros, the quarterback was usually set on this type of pedestal. Yes, you're the leader of the team. The media, they put you on this type of pedestal. But Tom, around the guys, he would step off that pedestal and just be one of the guys, and that's what made him great.
And take the time, Stephen A. Take the time to know everybody. Can you just tell me one thing, whether it's as a competitor, an athlete, or as a friend, that you love or admire most about Tom Brady, since you have an intimate relationship with him?
What I would say is of what he does with every team that he's a part of. He works so hard to form relationships with every one of his teammates. And if there was one word I would describe him, and a lot of guys would describe him, would be like, something like a brother, really, because what he always believed was, how are you supposed to look to me as a leader and look to me to be your quarterback if I don't have that relationship with you and we don't care about each other? So I'm talking about compassion. I'm talking about kindness. I'm talking about getting to learn your family, which is the story I talked about in terms of him teaching my son quarterback tips while my son's in his underwear and Tom's in his pajamas over FaceTime. You know, little things like that. There are a lot of stories a lot of his teammates have about Tom Brady caring about so much as you, the individual, and you, the person, along with you as a teammate.
One catch, one Super Bowl ring.
That's what I'm saying. You're smiling. Exactly, because you don't care about the stats. You finally got that ring. Hey, man, 4 times in your first 6 seasons, you finished last. Did you ever think that you would see this day?
When we got Tom, I knew it was a possibility for sure. And Chris, you know you're my guy. I'm just messing with you.
I know, baby.
But yeah, man, when we got Tom, I knew it was a possibility. You know, he's one of those guys, you put him on any team, they're going to have a chance. They're going to be a contender. And we just put in the work, you know, all offseason. Even though there wasn't offseason, we got together, put in some work. Gronk, what's up, boy? And then we made it happen, so.
Mike, I'm so happy for you, man.
I'm trying to go. I'm trying to go turn up. I'm trying to
turn up, dog.
All right.
Yo, he's got to turn up.
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
I ain't never did it. He already know. He's already won some of these. I haven't. You too, Mike. You won some of these. I'm trying to go party.
Talk to me about what made Tom different, because obviously you played with a lot of incredible players with those Patriots teams.
He was wired different from day one. I mean, he always came in with that competitiveness. He was always cool, calm under pressure. And when he got into the huddle, he just did his job. You know, he grew into who he is today. He didn't come in, with the hype and all the folklore behind him coming out of college. So he's just wired different. And I'll give you an example. We went out to a team dinner one time, and Tom, he was like, you know what? I ain't giving this SHIT back. And I was sitting there like, you know what? That's the spirit. He told me, myself and Lori Malloy that, but we was like, Drew just signed a $100 million contract. But when Tom took to him, he absolutely told himself that he is not giving this job back. And I think that's saying something to the character of who he is, because when you sign a $100 million contract, I was like, that's the spirit. You're supposed to think like that. But at the same time, in this game, in this business, that does not happen. And he bet on himself. He knew he was not going to ever come off the field, and it's still showing 22 years later from that moment.
You said that Tom helped you become a better receiver. Tell us how you became a better receiver and you became a better team with the GOAT Tom Brady.
Well, I learned how to take care of my body better, learned how to study film better. And so many other things. Learn how to become a better man. All that. He's an unbelievable teammate. He's a great role model, great guy to look up to, and he's the greatest of all time.
When did you guys know he was the one? Because you got to earn y'all respect. Y'all weren't just going to give it to him just because Bill Belichick said to give it to him or Tom Brady wanted it and he wasn't giving it. It's one thing not to give the job back to Drew Bledsoe. It's another thing entirely to earn the respect of your elite veterans who's carrying this team. When did y'all say, it's him? Ain't no question about it.
Well, one, because he came in and he kept his head down and he just did his job. He wasn't trying to say, follow me as a quarterback. We had Drew Bledsoe right there. He was just coming there to prove himself to us that he was worthy and to himself.
What was that like to be on the end of Tom Brady's passes, play calls, in the huddle with him all year long, Chris?
Oh, it was so dope, man. Like, just watching him, like, my entire life and being, seeing him from afar and watching the greatness, and then now having the opportunity to be a part of that, now I'm a part of that history. It was so cool, and he was so different from really like anything that I was anticipating. I was just kind of like thinking that he was going to be like this stiffer, like just ball all the time, and don't get me wrong, like he loves the game of ball and he puts so much into it, but like off the field, he's a great guy, and he really just came in and fit in as one of the guys, cracking jokes, just the whole nine. And, you have nothing but respect for a guy that's so accomplished but comes in and works as hard, if not harder, than everybody else.
And how does that permeate the locker room? How does that permeate the huddle? How do you pick up on what he was putting down, Chris Godwin?
Yeah, I mean, it's infectious, man. Like when you go out there, you go to battle, and your leader is putting in everything he has, and he's going to give it his all. You feel obligated to step up and answer the bell. We're going into every game expecting to win.
As we reflect on the career of Tom Brady, it almost comes across as if there's nothing more to be said. We just have to regurgitate the same superlatives that we've been throwing out there, same laudables that we've been throwing out there about him. But if there's something about him that nobody has said, that you noticed, that you think needs to be said, if there is anything, what would that be in your eyes?
Look at his longevity and look at what he was working with, not taking anything away from any of the guys that helped him become who he is. But he won championships without Randy Moss, Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, and some of the other great receivers that we know and that we think about when it comes to that position, who usually helps make quarterbacks great. Tom, you could put anybody out there on the field with him, and he's going to find a way to win. He's going to get him the ball. So I think that's what makes him special. I think that needs to be talked about more. He a career that's expanded 3 decades and still playing at the highest level.
Special competitor, special person, and we will certainly miss him on the field, but I think we'll be seeing him plenty of other places, and excited to see how that turns out.
And I just want to say something, because I know he's not on there with y'all right now. Mm-hmm. But if I was Tom Brady, because I'm a little bit pettier, I would go to Costa Rica and I would call Max Kellerman. Now I'm going to jump off my cliff. I'm going to jump off it right now with a cannonball, and I might be holding up things, but it wouldn't be fists. Now I'm going to jump off the cliff. Now he did it his way on his time, and I'm happy for him, and he's the greatest that ever did it, not only just as a quarterback, but he's the greatest football player who's ever played the game. And I was glad to be, I'm just glad to be a small part of that and seeing him grow and being his teammate.
That's it for this video. I post a new Tom Brady video every day, so please like and subscribe. That way you'll always have a new Tom Brady video to watch every single day.